Die 13. Podcast-Folge ist online. Vor 4 Monaten habe ich mit dem Reiten- und Yoga-Podcast begonnen und bin überwältigt von eurem Feedback, den Rückmeldungen, wer schon alles diesen Podcast gehört hat und auch von der Ermutigung, weiterzumachen. Das habe ich auch vor, denn das Format entspricht mir sehr. Ich kann länger und tiefer über ein Thema sprechen und gleichzeitig auch Menschen in meinen Podcast einladen. Wie Joki Timmermans, mit der ich heute in der Finca auf Ibiza ein schönes Gespräch führen durfte. Wir haben über ihre Arbeit gesprochen, die sie als Horse Medicine bezeichnet. Über Fügung, wie man Kindheitserinnerungen nutzen kann, um Erfüllung zu finden und dass Dankbarkeit einfach das größte Geschenk ist. Es ist meiner Meinung nach eine sehr inspirierende Folge geworden, bei der du Joki besser kennenlernst, aber auch mehr über die transformierende Kraft von Ibiza erfährst. Viel Spaß! Okay, then welcome to the Horseback Riding and Yoga podcast. Today I have Joki here with me in the Ibiza studio. So you can imagine we're sitting in this beautiful garden of a finca on the countryside in Ibiza in Spain. It's a warm wind, we have lemon water in front of us, and we're just like looking forward to the conversation we have. And Joki, I'm super happy that you're here, that you could take the time, and welcome.
Thank you, Catherine. So you forgot to mention that we had the most beautiful brunch here in the finca together with the guests. It's such an amazing place to be. This is a really nice spot. So yeah, we were sitting in under the shade. Thank you for the invitation. I'm so glad to be here. It's my first podcast, so it's really, really amazing to share and do it with you because I recently met you, but I really feel like I have a connection, or I admire you. Like I said before, the work you do in the retreats here, I get to see it with my own eyes now in Ibiza, and it's really a pleasure to be here. And thank you, everybody that's listening to me. I hope we have a nice hour together.
Yeah, it's interesting. We just decided a few days ago to record this podcast, and it came from the idea because I was so fascinated by the sessions you gave. We only met 1 year ago through a friend of us, and then we met 3 weeks ago, and I saw your work, and it was like, oh my god, this is so fascinating. And this is also why we decided then to do this podcast, to talk a bit about your work. But before we do that, maybe you can give us just a brief introduction of who you are, what you do in your own words.
So my name is Joki Timmermans, and I changed my name a bit in Ibiza to Joki. It actually happened in Croatia a long time ago, but that's another story. Because joke is a bit weird to say in English. I'm from Belgium. I was born in Belgium. I lived there all my life. I changed 4 years ago to a more nomadic lifestyle. I started traveling. I worked in Ireland, in the Azores, in Seville, in a riding school, always with horses. Since I left Belgium, I really wanted to go back to true horse passion. I always had my own company by the side in Belgium, doing coaching and training with horses. But I also had a different job sometimes. Like I told you, I worked in PR, and I did also landscaping for horse pastures in Belgium. And I was also always fascinated by training problem horses. Then I got to know that it's not really the horse that has a problem, but that I could work more on the owner, and that would change the whole dynamic in the horse. And that's how I rolled into coaching. And now I really have found the perfect blend of all the techniques I learned in the way, and it's called Horse Medicine Ibiza, and it's using the technique of the family constellations of Bert Hellinger with kinesiology and with the intuitive power of the horses. And I have one dog, and I live in Ibiza. And I don't want to say how old I am.
That's totally fine. I think that at one age we just like stop talking about that. So I would like to start a bit like asking about your horse experience, because you said like your work. This is the first thing you mentioned. Like, what's a bit your background with horses? Like, why horses?
Yeah, it started when I was in the second year of the primary school. We went to see a horse farm with the teacher. I never been close to a horse before, and then I was there when we could like clean the hooves of this big horse, and I was like, wow, what happened to me? I was like, yeah, in love or infatuated or infected with the virus. I say it's like a disease that never goes away. So yeah, I asked my mom, can I go there and do a pony camp, because they talked about a pony camp. I was never away from home. I never slept anywhere. So I was like, my mom was like, you're so small, and are you going? But she agreed, because I don't know why. And yeah, it never left me. It runs through my blood like the horse blood. So I always wanted to know as much as possible about horses. That was my focus. It was like, what are you gonna dream of tonight? My mother used to ask me. I was always a horse. Or what do you want for Christmas? A horse, a horse, a horse. Yeah, I was like really crazy horse girl. But I studied a normal study, because my parents said maybe it's not the way to make money if you want to be in horses. Just go to university. And the minute I had my degree, I went to work in a riding school. So I was there cleaning stables with my university degree. And I was so happy. Yeah. And then I found out more about natural horsemanship. So I went in that direction. I followed every course that you could get, read every book that there was to read. Because didn't have my own horse. I was also riding a lot of people's horses, problem horses that nobody wanted to ride. I was just absorbing everything. Got my trainer's degree, like normal, to teach. I was also into biomechanical riding with Anna Muller and Akasha Rijdkunst, zal ik zeggen, in the Netherlands. Yeah, and then the academic art of riding found me, because I had a very difficult Spanish mare at one point. Yeah, people started giving me horses. I started like acquiring a herd. I found my dream home where I had my own barn with my own horses. I did pony camps myself in the end. So yeah, horses have always been like the thing that kept me going. Also the direction. I didn't have to think about what I wanted from life. It was always something to do with horses. And yeah, it was very clear for me that I'm in a way related to horses, or from a planet where there are a lot of horses, or I don't know. It's like unexplainable. There's nothing that has this attraction on the earth for me than the horses. So I can't fight it. It always comes back in one way or the other. And I don't want to fight it. But sometimes it's a bit hard, because it's a big animal. There's lots of complications with having your own horses.
You also mentioned that you had your dream home and the horses and the pony camps, and then still you left and you started your nomadic lifestyle. So what made you travel? What made you leave that picture perfect? For me, it sounds a bit like that picture perfect moment. Like what brought you abroad?
It's maybe a bit what you say, like once you reach one goal and then you're there, and then is this everything? A bit. I invested so much in this ambition that I also forgot my partner that was in it with me. So we grew apart. So we separated, and then there was a lot of my horses died. So there was some room suddenly that there wasn't before. And I always had the dream to live abroad and to work abroad. I came to Spain when I was 19 to work for the summer. So I really wanted to be in another country, but then, yeah, this other life happened, and that was also fine. That was also nice, because I thought that would never be possible, but it became a reality. And because of the breakup in this relation, then the horses died, and then I dislocated my collarbone, so I was at home for a while, and then I was like, wow, what am I gonna do actually? What do I really feel like doing? And I didn't really want to stay self-employed, because you need to also work hard and do a lot, work hard. That's also something in my mind maybe, but there's a lot of different aspects of that you need to manage. So I thought I just want to work somewhere with horses and travel and just be like more an employee and don't think too much about all these stuff. And that's how I ended up in Ireland, actually with a Swiss lady, very nice Swiss lady, Andrea Iter. And I worked there 6 months before I went to the Azores. And that was because the whales were calling me. And
there was just like a funny moment between of us, because when you said like Swiss lady, I have a very good friend, and she also like knows someone in Ireland, and that's that lady.
Really?
Yeah.
I knew we didn't talk about it yet,
No,
but there must be a connection probably.
Yeah, that was really funny, because I was like, really, it's sometimes it's so small. Like even before we started this podcast, we said like it's also like nice in a podcast to discover something from the other person, and then you have like these moments where you go, oh my god, because my friend Janine, she always like tells me, oh, we need to go there one day, and
yeah, it's amazing. So do you want me to tell a bit about
maybe in another podcast?
Yeah, I was living in a castle in Ireland on the countryside. And that was really, really beautiful.
But also before, I wanted to mention that, you know, I think it's really important that when we have these cuts in our life, that we also listen. Because often we just like feel life is like throwing stones at us and throwing stones in our path, and we're like, we're left out and we're in this like deep depression and whatever. But it's just like often also an end of an era of that, you know, like the dream home with the pony camp and everything. It's, you know, like maybe it was just the time to end and to open a new chapter. And I think it's always like really brave, and I love these stories when someone actually listens to that call and leaves and does something else, and maybe also like does a job maybe one would have done 10 years ago. Or so I think it's really brave, and it's also like a bit an encouragement, maybe if someone is listening and is a bit in the same situation, to really listen, and even if it's like dark and painful, to go for it.
Yeah, I can recommend that. And I've always done that. Like the hinge I have, like, I longed for more connection. This is what I was looking for. I want to have more connection. I had everything like to be happy, but I felt unfulfilled in a way. So I thought, I go and look, because if I don't look, I never know if it's there or not. So yeah, I don't mind starting all over, and I've done it now a few times. Okay, now I want to stay for a while here, because it's also a bit tiring to travel to a new country, make new friends, do a new. But my mind likes new things. I drive on this dopamine of finding out, what products do they have in this supermarket? How do people think? How do they live here? What is the traffic like? Like, I like to explore the world in that way. So it really, it really makes me happy to be in new places, and also the people you meet on the way. It's so amazing. All these new friends I made all over the world. Like, I wouldn't have met if I had stayed in my hometown where I was still living. Actually, I couldn't imagine that I would be that person living in my hometown, but I was, I moved maybe one town away, but it was still so close. So yeah, I think I'm no more the person that I wanted to be. And I had this, actually, I'm very, very grateful for this time I had, because I could do a lot of education that I didn't think I would be needing. But now when I'm here in Ibiza, all these things I have in my backpack is suddenly like, oh yes, I know this and I know that and I know that. And I just wanted to learn, because that gave me a good feeling and dopamine, and also for my own process. But now I feel like, and I'm actually gonna share it, and I'm actually talking to people, and they say, wow, how do you know that? And then I'm going back, oh yes, I did also do a focus training. I forgot actually about the focus training, but this comes from this focus training. So it's really, it feels like a full circle moment to be now here. And also the way I got into this work again is also not like, I was not really intending it.
To get into the work you're doing now?
Yes, into the coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was teaching an English girl that was a volunteer. I was helping her with some groundwork.
Here on the island?
Here on the island. And she said, wow, I was in the car and I was contemplating this issue in my head. And now you're directing me in this groundwork session with this horse, but it's exactly the theme that is playing in my life. And she said, this is so amazing. I am a vet, and I have a group of vet friends around the world that I'm inviting to Ibiza as a mastermind. They don't know each other, all of them, but I want to have them here because they were all inspiring for me. And I'm having them here for a weekend, and I want you to do a session with them all. Wow, because what I experienced in this session is so amazing. Thank you, Ebony, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah, and then we did this session, and it was amazing. Like everybody had like a really nice moment, and they were all very happy, and they were very thankful for Ebony for having this. And then afterwards she said, yeah, this is a motivational speaker, this is a vet, so it was all amazing people from all over the world that were there, and I didn't know before what would happen. Like I thought it's her friends coming. But then luckily I didn't know, because otherwise I would have been more nervous maybe.
Yeah, sometimes it's good just to know after, right? And then that takes away that nervousness of...
Yeah, but then I started thinking, maybe I'm onto something indeed. And then I lost, and something happened at the place I was working. So I needed to find another place to stay, another job in Ibiza. So there was quite some confusion. But then I thought, yeah, this is also probably for a reason, because this was my fixed job that I wanted, to be an employee. But then again, every time I didn't like the way they did things, so I wanted to do it my way. Then I thought, maybe this is again to be a bit to go my own way again.
That's not the best requisite for being employed. I understand the wish for, like, sometimes I know how it feels because I also have my own company, and I know how it feels when you're always responsible yourself for everything you do and for all the action and reaction. But then on the other hand, I also know I was never a really good employee. I mean, I always did my best, and I would say I always did good work, but I was often frustrated, and I wanted to have it my way, and I wanted to have it different, and I couldn't because I was working for someone. So I think I was more like that person who really wants to work hard for what I believe in, and I'm really able to take risk and also to work a lot, but then I want to have it my way. And I feel it's good to have this employee experience, but then also realize this box is too small, right? You need a bigger box. You need actually an open box. You need your box. And so this is basically the point when you decided to do.
Yeah, I met then our friends at the stables. Yeah, and then they said, yeah, you can do this here. Yeah, let's do it. And then I had Natasha making this nice video for me, and just, yeah, we started, and then people started coming, and then, yeah, that was my new job.
So now we talked a bit how you got there, but I think everybody's a bit curious what you're doing.
Oh,
so
yeah,
now we open a new box. So how would you describe the work you do?
The first question was easy. This one is a bit more complicated. Yeah, so what I do is actually I use the technique of family constellations. It's the technique of Bert Hellinger, a German guy.
Do you want to explain a bit? Maybe someone is not really familiar with it, just to explore a bit.
So family constellations is a modality of therapy or coaching where where people go in to see what is blocking the system they're in. We're all part of a system. We're all part of a family. And every system has like unwritten rules or laws, the hidden dynamics of the family system, of the system, society, corporation you're in. Every system has hidden rules. And he found a way to make them visible and to see where people are not in the right spot. So everybody has their spot, the right spot that they're in. And when something is not really in the right, if not someone, everybody has to belong, everybody has to have the right spot, and there needs to be a balance between giving and taking. That's the three basic things. And you can make this visible just by putting stones on the table for every part of the system. You can do this with people, and then it's a real traditional family constellation. You put people that you don't know, that don't know you, that don't know your system, on these different spots of your family system. And in the way they connect with the morphogenetic field, with the bigger picture, and they resonate with this team you have. And they give you information about how they are feeling in this spot, and also in relation to the other points in the constellation. So it's really hard to describe when you have never done it, because it is not really like you're not playing this person, you're really feeling the energy of this person. So it can sound a bit esoteric and a bit woo-woo, and it is actually also very, very spiritual in a way. I would say magic also, but it's also very grounded because it's very, very real. And when I found out about it, I really felt like this is the key to the universe. This is the hidden rules of the game that we don't know, and we are played sometimes by these rules, because the system wants to have a basic balance. The system has his own will about balance. The balance in the end has to be the bigger picture has to be in balance, and we as persons are sometimes used a bit by the system to make this balance. So we're playing a role, or we're living a life that is not truly ours because someone else is not in the right spot. And when you find out, oh, this is not the right spot for me, I need to take my right spot, suddenly the stream of life flows better to you. You're not rowing against the stream anymore, but you're in sync with life, and life supports you. Like the analogy that it's like a tower of champagne glasses, and you have your grandparents, your parents, you and your children, your grandchildren, and someone pours in the champagne, and all the cups get filled, and everybody is full of life force and life energy. But a lot of times, some cup is missing somewhere. Someone died, someone was emotionally unavailable, someone got left out. There was a brother that you didn't know you had because he died so young, and the grief was so big that nobody talked about it. All these empty spots make that the champagne is not really flowing in your cup, and your cup is not overflowing for the next generation. So the work I do is to find those cups that are missing, put them back there, and make sure that everybody has their champagne. That's in short a bit what the family constellation work is about. And I do this not with people or with champagne flutes.
Maybe don't have an idea.
But I do this with this hula hoop, round objects, and with horses inside the arena. So that's where I put out, I use also the technique of kinesiology. So it's a muscle testing technique in which I talk to my body's knowledge, and the body knowledge is connected to my spirit guides. And that's how we found out what are the empty cups that we need to put inside, and what are the hidden dynamics that are playing. And then we start to see, well, can we move a little bit in the direction of the right order and the right balance and the right place of belonging? And it's a very, very interesting and amazing theory. So I would suggest there's lots of German literature about it, because
About
Bert Hellinger,
kinesiology or
no,
about the
about the
family
family,
system?
yeah, family constellation. Bert Hellinger, he was a German, so there's lots of. He started in Germany, of course, but he went also to Argentina and around the world with his constellations. If you're fascinated by it, be careful, because you might get also a bit addicted to it. Because, like I say, for me, it was like opening my first constellation was like, wow, opening a really big box of magic. One, because this system tells you so much, but also because you can feel things that you didn't know you could feel about other people. So it opens up also your extrasensory gifts or experiences. Yeah, that is a bit what I do. So I work with horses, kinesiology, and the family system in one-to-one sessions. So one person, one horse, me as a constellator. And I also host group retreats where people come that are on a retreat in Ibiza, and they are more like 4 or 5 people. And they do one by one also a session with me, and they look at each other's session and they resonate with that. This is my work as a horse coach.
And that's quite unique, right? That's something that's not, I mean, you mix these three modalities, so to say, and you weave them into each other. Because what I know, I mean, I know family constellations, I know kinesiology, I know horse coaching. I mean, that not so much, because to be honest, I was always a bit suspicious of horse coaching, because for me, that's, I mean, when people talk about the horse as your mirror, and I often feel like I love working with horses, but I don't feel like they're a mirror. Like I see my reaction causing an action, or my action causing a reaction, but I don't see this as a mirror. I just like see what I do is transferred to the horse, and then there is a reaction from the horse. But for me, that's not a mirror. So I often feel it's a bit like I never was really like fascinated by horse coaching. So, and to be honest, I was also a bit like curious to see what you do. And then I was like totally fascinated how you work, because of what you weave into your sessions. There were a lot of things I know from my own therapy background. So, for example, this family constellations I know from Gestalt therapy. So I know, like, when you have like objects, and for example, if you have a topic or a person, you can put an object and you can go to that object and really feel how this person feels about you, or how the situation is in relation to you. So I could see that. I also know a little bit about kinesiology, and I know about the work with horses, but like seeing that all together in action, and also like seeing how people reacted and what they got out of it. For me, that was like, as I said, after 2 years, like I knew you good, but I didn't know you're that good. So for me, that really like sums up what I saw that first session we had in a group setting. And so I'm totally fascinated by what you do. And so when we talk, I also like figure that something you created, right? It's not something you learned. You just mix these three theories, right?
Yeah, thank you for the compliment.
Yeah.
It's really, really nice to hear, and I'm also very happy that that it appealed to you and how it appealed to you, because, like you say, you have seen a lot, and then it's nice. So yeah, I like I said, I gathered a lot of tools in my backpack, and now they're all unpacking a little bit. And yeah, the kinesiology, they are working also a little bit with constellations, and because we can work with our guides to say who has to be where, and we can ask the extra questions, and we have extra tools. The constellations are getting more to the point and deeper and more profound, let's say. And I have a friend in Belgium who's also combining with the horses, but she's doing more the traditional constellations with people, and her heart is free with them. And she's also using kinesiology. So I'm not really unique, but in Ibiza, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that because I have different tools and different background, everybody brings to the table how their process was and what they learned as a person by living and going through things. So yeah.
That's true. That's true. And also, like, once you said that you're happy that you can work outside in nature. And that's also something I really enjoyed, because what I often felt was in my therapies, I'm a body worker and a coach. I often coached inside in closed rooms, and often I felt a bit like the room is too small for what we have to deal with. So I was always like really happy if I had like big space or open doors or like at least a view to a tree. And there I really felt like everything could be, there was like enough space for everything. So we sat under a tree, you were working with the client in the arena, the horse was there, the horse had enough space, the client had enough space, so there was sky over us so we could breathe. Like now you're also like breathing. So it's this feeling of space. And I also feel that today we are often like, we limit our own energy bodies into a limited space. And when we go into a coaching session and we sit too close to each other, then we don't expand. We cannot like fully expand our being and then also like transfer and like go through the processes. So I think like also that open space, the good energy at the Ibiza Horse Country Club also like helps in the process.
Yeah, for sure it does. This place is really like also amazing as a place itself, because it's also ancestral ground. Like it's from Vicente's parents, they passed it on to him. Jade is there, so it's like intergenerational. It's really belonging, and it has like, it's been taken care of, and it's a living thing. The ground, I really I experience it a lot, that some places want to have help or want to have want to talk. So I really talk also. I think it's also a bit of a shamanistic inside in this. I will also like it when a chicken comes to the constellation. We didn't have this now, but I had it happen. Or when the cat shows up, or when the dog is there. Like, also, I experienced it a lot when I set up the arena and I forget to take something out, and then this client is like, "This is important," and it starts to be. So it's a bit like everything is connected to each other. So we are not just a person who has like a will and tries to keep control of everything, but we are part of a living system. And just to sit back and say, I want to, that's my job as a coach, to be the lazy coach and to be the empty middle, and just see like, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen, and I have also no plan, and if it doesn't work out, and I'm good either way. I'm open to see what will reveal. I have, of course, sometimes I can think it will go this way or that way, but I can't be attached to the outcome, because then I'm also directing the outcome. And like we now know in quantum physics, if you look at something, the thing you look at changes just because you are the observer. So this is my best work is when I stay out of the picture a bit, and I'm just like, like I said, I don't know. Let's see. Of course, I have a lot of knowledge, and I try to see what this client could use of my knowledge, but I am not the answer. The answer is out there, and I'm there to help them find it. And I have the best co-workers in the horses. Like, they are so amazing. Like, I always tell the story when I did my first horse constellation, when I was in this educational program for constellating with horses. After that, I said, wow, I cannot ride anymore. Why would I teach this horse anything? It knows my family system. It knows my background. It knows what happened 7 generations ago in my family. I was flabbergasted by, I thought I knew animals were wise, but I didn't know how amazingly wise these horses are. They're Like, yeah, my respect and my admiration for them grew even more than it was already as this little girl that I tell you about with the blood, with the virus of the horses in the blood. Now I know why. It's not just that they have this heart, energetic, magnetic heart field and all these attraction things that science is now discovering, but they have this deep knowledge about what we as humans are and what we came here to do, and how they're like helping us achieve the next conscious leap a bit. That's how I feel. Like they are now saying, yeah, we helped you like in a more physical way to expand your human existence, and now we are there to also help you take the next step and feel like, oh, everything is connected and we are part of the universe and we can influence our reality and we can make the earth heaven on earth. So yeah, now we are listening to them in another way. I have the feeling it's time to give them back what they gave us, like in civilization, to building roads and going to war with us and doing all these big events wouldn't have been the same if horses were not this sweet animals that let us sit on their back and carried us and be this working force for us.
That reminds me of that book. I think you also had it on your list from Linda Kohanoff. Like, I don't know which one, but like some of her books, and it's also like she's always talking about the wisdom of the herd, like she's connecting to the herd. And there was also this one story when there was, I'm not sure if she did it or if she said it was in a session, when people would go with traumatic history, would go and pick a horse. And then there was this lady who had like this history of neglect, and it's a really weird story. So she was like injected with a needle in her eye when she was a tot, like a baby. She couldn't remember. And the horse had exactly the same story, was also like, had a needle in its eyes, you know, like, and also like how we attract also like the right horses and the one who can teach us something. And often we say like, yeah, I have this horse for a reason, but it can like be because that horse like physically wants to teach us something or like energetically. And I feel like when you allow yourself to work on that level, it's like opening up just like new dimensions.
It's exactly that, yes, new dimensions. It reminds me of like plant medicine when you also experience like, wow, everything is so connected. Yeah, that's what horses can do for us indeed.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's no coincidence. And yeah, that sometimes we forget a little bit and we get a glimpse of, oh, this is just one reality, but there's so many. And when I do the constellations, I get access to the other layers, what are beneath actually, our past life experience, or all these things that magically happen. And that's also why I really love to work in Ibiza, because you get these clients from over the world, and they are all on their journey. They're all on a personal journey. It's not that you have to explain what is reincarnation or anything, because everybody knows, and there's this level. And sometimes I get people and we can go to look at so beautiful, profound things that, yeah, it's just so rewarding to help them access this layer in themselves. And they show me like also things, and yeah, it's so beautiful. Yeah, it's so.
And for me, it's always like each of my retreats has a different energy. And, you know, some are really like grounding, some are really fun, some are really like bringing you a bit like to physical boundaries. And so for me, Ibiza is always like a really transformative retreat. I know that like some clients sometimes are not used to that level of energies that are here on the island. And some things are we don't know from back home. Like here, I feel like you really like open to different theories, to different realities. And I often like see with the clients that at the beginning they might be a bit like suspicious about like what we're doing and about the woohoo of Ibiza and about like, my God, everybody's a bit crazy here. But then also when you allow yourself just to be, I mean, you don't have to live here and adapt everything you find, but openness to all these options, it just like gives you a different view on your life, that you can live life differently, and that maybe what you are doing is maybe not the best option for you. And so for me, like, this Ibiza retreat is always like something really transformative. And so this is also like why I offer not only my yoga classes, but also like sessions from mostly ladies from the island, because I feel like this island really attracts interesting people with different gifts. And so this is why this retreat consists of many different offerings. For example, dance from Sandra, or the session we had this morning with Mishka, or like it's just like your horse coaching was something really, really special. And I think like that's something that maybe also for those listening, if they think of if they want to come to Ibiza or not, if it's something for them, it's a free retreat. It's like free spirit, so you really can explore who you can be, what you can be, and then go back to your world, to your home country, and really like see like what else do you want in your life, and what also can change.
Mm-hmm.
So that just like came a bit to my mind when we were talking about what you offer.
Yeah, and I'm also happy what you said about, you have Ibiza, and there's different Ibizas. There's also offers that are maybe more superficial in a way, and that you said, wow, this one is not like that. I feel really blessed to be offering something that I really see has value for the people. And Ibiza will do something with you anyway. Even if you just come here for 1 week and do nothing, then, well, amazing. Not always things you expect, like in happen. I still am now finally adapting a little bit after 1.5 years, but it's transformative for sure. But there's so much help out here, and there's so much synchronicities also, and like you say, you meet so many people that also are drawn to this island for a reason. So if they say besides magical, if you are open to it, it surely is magical. And then this form you have now with this beautiful house here, and then my second home on the island is the Vicente stables, and I'm so grateful for Vicente and Jade to have like adopted me a little bit. So I really feel like I can't get away there. Once I'm there, it's always later than I want to be when I go home. So I really feel like this place has such a magnificent vibe to it, even though there's nothing happening. It's just nice to be there. But everybody of the listeners probably too, who is a barn girl or horse girl, they know how it is to be at a barn. And then when your barn is in Ibiza and you have these two beautiful humans there, it's like paradise. So that is Ibiza. There's a lot of beautiful things. There's other horse people that are also very nice here. So I met a lot of like really nice horse people.
So we talked about the past, about the present, and I would love to finish a bit with the future. So before we started recording the podcast, we also talked a bit about your what you plan to do in the future. So maybe you want to talk a bit like, where do you want to go with your horse medicine, your horse coaching? So what are different other options you offer, or maybe you want to bit explore that for the listeners?
And so far it has been a bit of an organic growth, like I talked to you about. And then now I'm envisioning a bit like I'm doing the same, like working one-on-one with clients that come to Ibiza. So people can always contact me if they want to see my work and they want to just experience it. Also, I love the group work because you see the interaction and you see that people are getting out of it a little bit, what they see with the other people. I do one-on-one energetic healing on a distance too, so people can contact me for these kinesiology sessions. And I see myself working also in a sort of online context with the horses. Maybe one day that we film the session for people who can't be in Ibiza but really want to feel what the horse of Ibiza has to say to them. well, and I don't mind traveling the world a bit to do this. This would also be a dream of mine to like, yeah, like you do actually, travel a bit, work a bit, help some people. Yeah, talk to animals, cuddle horses and cats and dogs. Yeah, and find this really nice balance because, yeah, sometimes I also feel like the work I do is very energetic and really needs me to be present and be there. So I also want a good balance work life. So I also need a lot of downtime or to charge my batteries and be by the sea and be in nature.
So these are your ways of recharging, or what else? Like what special tactics or like what special ways do you have to, like to charge up your energies and to fill your cup?
Yeah, I've been working on that a lot in the last year because the years traveling and being an employee, it was 9 to 5 or sometimes a lot longer. So I pushed a bit my energy there just because I wanted to do it. Also, yeah, being horse riding is one of my top things to recharge. Going out with Vicente and galloping through the hills of Ibiza, of course, this is number one. But also, I really, really appreciate the work that I learned from Ben Branderup, the academic art of riding, like the precise training of a horse's body to really feel like that two bodies can do what two minds want to. Like really feeling into a horse, and like when you align the spine of the horse and really, really get it to have this sort of yoga-like body awareness, and your spine is aligned, and then you feel like, whoa, this centaur feeling. That's something I like to aim for too, because then my mind also quiets, because I really need to be focused on myself and on this horse.
Yeah.
And this is also, I also discovered by listening to a lot of podcasts in the last year while also cleaning horse shit, that I might have also some of the ADD characteristics tendencies. So I'm also training my brain and looking at my brain differently. And really, there's a lot of aha moments like, wow, this is why I want this dopamine outside of me, and how I had some coping mechanisms that were maybe not the healthiest one, or why this phone is maybe so addictive to me and all these things. So I'm meditating a lot. I'm journaling. I'm also trying to take care of my what I eat to influence my brain. I'm spending a lot of time with my dogs and walking in nature. This is what I do. And I like you also mentioned, the sleep is so important for me. To really have no blue light in the evening, like stand up and the birds start to sing outside of my room. I have this amazing thing that I can see the sun. I try to go to sleep when the sun goes down, and I get up when the sun goes up. Try to be in this rhythm, like the rhythm of nature, the rhythm of life. Yeah, and also try to see a little bit, like I don't watch any news, I don't listen to the radio, I don't know what's going on in the world, I don't try to follow the forensic times that we're in. I try to stay a bit more in my own bubble. And now I'm also working a lot on my mindset, on manifesting. I'm doing a lot of constellations for myself on the table. I'm using this kinesiology to work on myself, on my symptoms. I'm doing massages. Yeah, I'm doing lots of self-care lately.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, I really, really, I have a list on my fridge from all these morning routines that I can do. And yeah, we live here. I can go out and cut some aloe vera and make an aloe vera smoothie and do the turmeric and ginger in the morning. Yeah, I'm very blessed with the life I'm living and the things I can do to take care of. But if I would summarize it, it would be less. Do less. Like really, really a lot of time doing.
It's also a choice, because I'm sure like a lot of people think, yeah, but if I would live on Ibiza on this like hill, then I could do the same. But I mean, it is a conscious choice to be on Ibiza and to live on that hill. And I think we just like take choices. And I feel like often these days that doing less is more complicated than doing more, because now the doing more is the default mode. Doing more, it's like, it's like when you have a burnout, it's kind of like a flag of honor, like, okay, you didn't have a burnout yet. So it's like, or if you say like, I have a burnout, it's like really something that's kind of like not admired, but at least something you show that you worked hard for what you have. And I feel like now these days, that's also what I want to do a bit in my retreats. It's like return to nature, doing less, eating well, community, horses, movement, yoga, healthy food. Doing less, like having a lot of like time in between the sessions. I mean, sometimes you're also like a bit like yesterday we had a bit like of a session because we had the writing and then food and then another session. Sometimes it's also a bit more, but generally we have like time in between the sessions where you can just like relax or be at the pool and do nothing. And this is like so important. And I feel like this is what's going to be the challenge in the future for us, that we have like so many options. We want to do it all. As you mentioned, the dopamine rush. I mean, we're not the only one. I think like a lot of people have that. And we also like feel if we don't do, then we don't take opportunity of everything we could do. And we feel lazy. But sometimes we need to be lazy. Sometimes we need to be bored. Like I'm really happy when I feel bored, because I know like then I reach the state of doing nothing to an extent I want to reach it at some points. And I think it's also a way of like thinking differently how we live, and that doing less is the challenge and not doing more. So I really like
Yeah,
that.
like I really resonate with that we're not human doings, but human beings. And
Mm-hmm.
like this little story that you told me or I told you about this fisherman with his boat, like why would you do more? Okay, I have less money when I work less,
Yeah.
but I work a lot to do less, to have money to do less. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's what do I want actually? Where
Mm-hmm.
do I want to be? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a question we all need to ask ourselves. What makes me happy? Like, what do I
Mm.
want to do? And as you said, like, you wanted to work with horses. I mean, you had to do the detour. Often we have to do the detour, right? That's the hero's journey. So we need to go and study and we need to get that degree and then to come back to the barn and actually work with horses. So I feel like that's okay if we do the detours, but like those listening, like when they think like, what is the question? It's like, what makes me happy? What is my heart telling me? What do I really enjoy? And like get a bit more of that. I mean, we don't need to quit our job, leave the kids and sell the house, but it's like getting a bit more of what we
Mm.
enjoy and a bit less of what we don't enjoy.
Yeah, and really ask yourself, who am I doing this for? Is this for myself, or is this to impress the neighbors,
Mm-hmm.
or yeah, what do I want? And sometimes we need to go back to when we were a child. What was the things I did find fun? What did make me happy? A lot of clients, they forgot actually who they are, what they liked, what their pleasure was. And then I asked them, but if you were a little girl, what would you? I would play in the sand here. And
Yeah,
sometimes they even go and sit there and
yeah,
play in the sand a
yeah,
little bit and really connect to what rocks my boat, what is my body, what do I get the chills
yeah,
from, and what do I want to do. And a lot of women especially, they have learned to set aside a bit this and live a bit for the kids, for the husband, for the family. And then it's harder to find connection with what does this girl want,
mm,
and if she's not in service of other people, what is still, if she's still valuable. And yeah, that's a good thing. What is pleasurable, even if it's going out for to have an ice cream. I always when people are really lost, I have them make a list, like what is things that you really 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 enjoy.
mm,
If it's something like laying on your back on the earth and watching the clouds, that's one of my things in the top 10 list also for
mm,
recharging, because you connect to the earth there you feel like really all the tension flowing out you, and then you feel so small because the clouds are so big and far away. So,
Mm-hmm.
but this is a joy that is free and that you can do anywhere. You can go out, put on your coat if it's really cold, and just lay on the ground, and
Mm.
this is so rewarding. So by living in nature, I'm living in more like less luxurious places, but more inside nature, and
Mm.
spending a lot of time alone, roaming nature, roaming in the woods with my dog. Also in Belgium, I really learned to connect with myself and with yeah, with being alone and feeling okay when not everything is filled. And that was during COVID a lot that
Mm.
happened. So I'm also grateful for the time I had then with the big garden and nature that I had to really disappear in. Yeah.
I just, while you were talking, I just had this picture of me in my mind, because when you were saying like um, what you enjoyed as a kid, and for me it was always like camping, building tents. Like I would do stick tents with my first pocket money. I would buy a tent. I would always want to sleep outside. I dragged my mother outside because she wouldn't let me sleep outside alone. She hated it, so she had to bring her own mattress because she didn't want it to lie on the floor. So we had to take our mattress outside in the garden. And this reminded me, now that I do these retreats in Morocco, I designed our own tents.
Oh
That just like came to my mind, and it's like you never lose this childhood joys.
no, and
It
it's just
and it's
putting.
just like a grown-up version. I mean, now I have the power. I can, like I drew the tent. I brought this design to a tailor in Marrakesh. He made a first version, a mock-up tent, and then we designed it a bit differently. And now we have these like beautiful white cotton tents. And it's just like, when you get in these choices, I mean, still now when I talk about it, I feel like I'm so looking forward to go and sleep in my tents. And that's this little choice, I'm always like, I have sand in my hair, I have sand in my tent, I have sand in my bag, I have sand everywhere. It's, I mean, not the most luxurious thing, but it's just like beautiful to lie in this tent, looking outside in the ocean, and know, like, like I dreamed it into being. And that's, I think for me, that's also like one of my greatest joy, to dream and then live in my dreams.
That's so
That,
beautiful. That's so beautiful. Yeah, I'm really, really happy to hear that. And it's also, yeah, when we were a child, we are not hindered by society's expectations or realistic things or anything. We still remember what our soul imprint was to
mm-hmm,
come and do in this world. So that is what gives you joy, your
mm-hmm,
talent. So
yeah,
if you really follow what gives you joy, and actually what you're good at, or what is not feeling like work, then you're close to the path that you were designed to be
mm-hmm,
on, without people telling you, oh, you couldn't do that, or this is
mm-hmm,
or that. But that's why it's so important to feel what made you happy as a child, because then you
mm-hmm,
know what actually your soul wants you
yeah,
to be doing, and the path that was meant for you, without the mind
mm-hmm,
coming into it, or circumstances, because not all is free choice, of course. And I know it's easier for me because I don't have children and I don't have a family that I can leave and choose another life.
mm-hmm,
So but every little, like you say, everybody can make little adjustments in their life, and little choices to be more like playful
mm-hmm,
and more like fun and adventurous.
mm-hmm,
Also, if it's taking a different route home than you normally
mm-hmm,
do, like all these little things that make you feel, oh, I'm alive. I'm so
mm-hmm,
happy to have this body and experience this beautiful, beautiful world. And if you're stuck, then ask help, like ask the universe for bring me people that can help me get unstuck. And there will be signs that they point you in a direction where you can find help. So
mm-hmm,
yeah, I want to give a little bit of a message of hope,
mm-hmm.
like follow your dreams in a way. You're never too old. Yeah, I am maybe. still I did it. And I also feel like every age has also, again, this benefits.
Yeah.
Because now I feel like, wow, I've learned a lot in my life. I didn't know I was learning. I was like sometimes surviving, but actually, yeah, I was learning. And in a way, maybe in a few years I will still again be like, oh.
I'm still too old for this.
No, I don't feel old at all.
We're never too old. You know, like we always like wish we started earlier, but I think we should not be limited by that, and we should not limit ourselves. And if there is a wish, and also like what you said, like brings me to a good point to like wrap up the whole podcast a bit, and like that getting help, like what you just like say, either it's like by asking for help or like getting in touch with someone or booking something for yourself. So like often we feel like we need to deal with it by ourselves, but we are part of nature, we're part of the tribe, we're part of like the human society. So we can help animals, we can ask animals to help us, we can ask humans, we can ask nature, so we can help the
we
spirit
can pray,
guides. Yeah. And I'm sure like we could talk on for hours, but I think we need to wrap this up a bit. And I'm gonna link later in the show notes how people can reach you. But like, what's the best way they can get in touch with you?
Yeah, you can just send me a WhatsApp even. Yeah, and I have an Instagram account. They can follow it there a bit. Yeah, or give me a call, or maybe, I don't know. I don't have a website. I have only Instagram. I'm also on Facebook. I have a Facebook page and my personal profile. You can add me as a friend for sure. And I would say if you feel like I have the energy of the solution for the problem that you're dealing with, you can always contact me, or I can also feel into it. If I can't help you, I will also say, I'm sorry, it's maybe better that you look in this or this direction. But sure, yeah. Always welcome.
Yeah. Do you have like something you still would like to say, or something that just came to your mind, or something like a final word, so to say?
Yeah, I would like to say to people, for me, it always helps to find little things to be grateful for, because this energy of being grateful for the things you already have or that are going good, although it's very small, will attract more things to be grateful for. And so this is how you can make a little bit more magic in your life. So I would say thank you. I'm very grateful for today, for this podcast.
Same. I don't want to add anything, because I think you just like nicely wrap this up. So I would leave it with this gratefulness for small things and bigger things, and that's like my gratefulness for your time and for our meeting.
Gracias.
So. Danke.
Dankeschön. Danke sehr.
Merci.
Dank u wel allemaal. Yes. This is the vibe we want to bring to the world, no?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much. Schön, dass du mir jetzt eine Stunde lang zugehört hast. Ich schätze deine Zeit sehr und hoffe, der Inhalt hat dich inspiriert, zum Denken angeregt und vielleicht auch motiviert, Ibiza einmal selbst zu besuchen. Wie immer freue ich mich über eine 5-Sterne-Bewertung, wenn dir der Podcast gefällt und du ihn noch nicht bewertet hast. Und wenn du jemanden kennst, der sich über den Inhalt freuen würde oder davon profitieren kann, danke ich dir auch jetzt schon fürs Weiterleiten.